Hello guys, welcome. This is me, Abdi. Uh, I want to share, historical data of the CFTCs or the COT Report, so that we can learn some of how this data works. So let us start with first fetching data from the platform of CFTCs or Commodity Futures Trading Commission, and then put it into our Excel terminal or Excel sheet terminal that I created. So we know that there is a long format data or short format data. So we always focus on the short. For example, if we for the long, if we see here, we have long format data, which is on here. This data is too much, and most new traders, they are not able to understand how it really works, and how to follow will be also so critical and complications. So let us remove all the confusions of understanding the data by using another platform which gives us good format of the data as a summary or short form. There is a platform which is called Trading Style, and it will give you the COT data as a good format. So it is fetching data from the official platform, which is the cftcs.government, and then they are summarizing the data. So this is my also my terminal. Here is where we want to put terminal, as our data will be getting in here. So all we want to do is, let us have here 1 week, which was, this will be the current week. For example, let us start the COT report here. Okay, we will start it this week. Okay, US dollar. Okay, US dollar, the US dollar index. So the US dollar index is here. Okay, we will not select the COT legacy. We want the COT, the full format of the data. So as you guys can see, the week which we want is week 1. For example, we want 2025 9 2. That is the week that we want. So as for this week, you see, as for of this week. Okay, and then okay, so this is the week where I wanted to put the data. So the next week will be here. For example, we go and so this will be, I think, September 9. So this will be the next data which I will fit I will put on here. Okay, so let us put all this data. We will take the open interest, and we will put also the shorty and a long format of that data. So what we can do is, so go back, okay, to, and then since our terminal is based on leverage funds, all we want is leverage funds only. So for leverage funds, So they want open interest first of this week. So this was the open interest, and then open interest for this week. Okay, open interest for this week. Okay, also I will take the shorty position. It is leverage funds. Okay, and then this is the short position where I will put. Okay, and then this is the long. Okay, and okay, so I place it. Okay, you see what we have. Okay, so what we want to do is we switch. Okay, we switch to the next week, which will be the current week at that moment, and then take the open interest, and then go here, place open interest, and then back take you know, the short positions. Okay, short positions. Okay, and also take the long positions. So the 8 currents we will do the same. Okay, all of them. Okay, all of them we will do all of them. Okay, so what we have to do is the next asset is we have to ask one important thing. Since we know the open interest and also the net positions and net shorts, so do we know the data analyze? There is, you know, contract value. So you see US dollar contract value is always 1000. Before we switch, you guys can see each contract of the US dollar is equivalent to $1000. So that is one important thing you have to keep in mind, since calculation of the data value will be based on understanding the contract value. So we will have open interest total and open interest total in US dollar, and there we will have the data analyzed in this section. So that, let us go back and then add you know, euro US dollar. Okay, so in here we'll be back. Okay, we'll be back. This is the euro. Okay, and then when we are at the euro, let us start our first week there, and then the contract value is the same. Always understand that this is the contract value. So we will take this, and remember this date must be the same with the same data. Okay, and then put it over there. All right, so take the open you take the open interest, could be the short format. Okay, the shorty positions and also the long positions which will be there. Then you go here and then take the next 2 weeks, you know, the next 2 weeks open interest first, and then place it, All right, so we have open interest. All we need is the okay short positions, short positions, and we also want the long positions. Do the same. Okay, it will calculate it, don't worry, just put the data. That is it, how I calculate all the data. So what I want to do is JBB next, okay, back here, and then look for British pound sterling. Okay, and then let me have open interest. So let us look first the week. The date is important. Okay, open interest, and then put it here. Then short position will be there. Okay, here we will have long position, and boom. So let us have the next week. It is here. Okay, we will have this as our next week. Open interest. Okay, and then short position. Okay, so we have to do CAT. Okay, Canadian dollar. Okay, as of the week of open interest. Short position. You must always be careful how you copy in the data, and a long position also. Put it here. So all we want is current week will be this week, and then all we want is this week. We interest the open interest number, and then place, and then since this is okay, this will be the short data, short positions. long positions too. So it's done. After we delete this, we've done. So just the for other assets remain it like CHF. Go back and then go to the COT report. CHF is the switch frame. This is the switch frame. Back to that one. Week of 2. Then open interest. Okay, open interest. We do the same always. Yeah, this is the open interest, and then short positions. Short positions. Also the long positions. Long positions. After that, we have to go CHF here. Current week will be 9. Okay, first let us take the open interest. Move that open interest here, place it here, and take short positions. And then put it here. Then long positions. Okay, let us have NCD. Okay, NCD. Back. Okay, NCD New Zealand dollar. We got to take open interest and place it there. Then short positions. Then long positions. Long positions with to go NCD. Open interest of week 2. Release it. Short positions important. Long positions also important. Then we're done here. So all we want is to do AUD Australian dollar. This is historical data. Okay, back to the next week. So this was the open interest. Short positions. And the long positions. Alright, this will be the last one. Back to Japanese yen. That's the JBY. Open interest. Of the first week. So it's short positions. We place here, and then long positions. So we need the second week or current weeks. So the open interest, and then we need short positions, and we need long positions. Okay, after you put all your data here, let me make sure this one CHF, because I have 0% I don't know why. Let me make sure CHF, back to CHF. Okay, then week 9, I place here. Okay, this is the net open interest, and I want to have this as a short position, and this as a long position. It is right. It is the same. What I want to know is CHF here, and then go week of 2, interest. If you see something wrong, you can recorrect it. It is okay. The short position. Then long positions. So it is correct. We don't want to do anything that's 0%. So what we guys can do is we go the data and we can see that everything is right here. So as for the first week, we can say here, okay, this is last week, okay, and this is the current week. Okay, this is the current week. So here we can analyze data, understanding everything that the assets giving us. So okay, okay, what happened last week and what is happening this week, that's the difference. So you guys always have to look at what is happening, the nets, the dollars, everything. Okay, so what you see, the open interest, the total of each week is always the same, but that doesn't make us, the difference we want to see is the open interest total first, and open interest leverage funds in a US dollar will have different number. Okay, it will always different from last week. Okay, the short value, the long value is always different. The net position is always different. If the net position is coming from negative to positive, it indicates that market is up and market is down. For example, this week, December 2, I think it was December 2, if you go the dollar index on the, okay, and then back to, okay, you can at a higher time frame so that we can reach. This March, okay, okay, it was September 9. Okay, September 2, let us have September 2, it was Tuesday, I hope. Yeah, it was here. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. So Tuesday, so this will be this is, let me say, Tuesday, September 2, 2025. You can see it here, okay? And text it, let me make it like Tuesday, September, you see September. So this is you know, this week, okay, this week, and you see the net position was minus 757. It was a negative, so the net percentage also 2.4 minus 2.4. Net percentage leverage funds also minus 3.23 percentage, and also the net percentage leverage fund change is also minus 2 points. So it means that this week there was a negative number and market should go down. This week market was going down, it was going down. So we will go to the next week, which is this week, okay, for the US dollar. For that US dollar, it was a positive, right? Because negative is coming back to positive, right? Okay, here the net position here you see is positive. So what was this week? This week was September 9, right? September 9. We will look for September 9. This was September 9, okay? That was nice sale, September 9. It must be the same Tuesday. That will be September 9. So what I do is I always trade at 2 hours, but when you go high time frame you cannot see. So September 9 market was pushing also to the upside. That was the positive. So when we go, you see it shows that market was going upside, right? It was moving upside. So if we have the next week, then it will be negative. Data must show the same. So here you see this will be Tuesday and market was bullish. So you can have 1 to 2, 1 to 3 every week holding it. So this is not like we enter and price reach it there quickly. We wait some time. I like when market is giving these confirmations at key level like this week 1. So So we know if the net percentage is changing from negative to positive at this section, and then everything will be so clear. Look here, there is okay, positive. Okay, let us go to the negative currency, which was euro. Euro was positive this week, so we will go to euro. Okay, and then let us look for September 2. Okay, okay, so this was Tuesday. You see September 2. Okay, September 2. So September 2, you guys can see when price comes here, boom, it started pushing up, right? That was a positive of this number, euro. So the next week, which was September 9, let us see what happened then. Okay, September 8, and then market comes lower somewhere here. It was September 9. So September 9 was here also. Okay, September 9 was here. So it means that this key level will make continuation of this asset September 9. After a little bit of drawdown, market started pushing up. So the next weeks was also positive according to the COT analysis. So it was a positive. Let us go to the JBB. This week was positive, right? This is September 2. So if we go JBB, JBB USD, one of my favorite one, JBB USD. Let us go September 2. It was here. So September 2, market fly away from here till September 9, and then September 9 market follows, comes here, and then September 9, according to the next week, JBB was positive. So 2 consecutive weeks the data was positive of JBB, and then you guys can see that net percentage was increasing to 27%, net leverage funds 17, net leverage funds percentage 17. So it is always increasing. So that was another bullish for that next week, and then boom, you guys can see market was flying, boom. So my friends, let us look at the next data. At the next data, it is we have to check this CAD. CAD was negative. I like USD CAD, which will be the post offset, but CAD JBY, I think that will be good asset. Let us look at CAD JBY. USD CAT is the opposite. When we're looking for negative number, it goes against. Okay, let us look at September 9, which will be very good for negative. Okay, you see Tuesday September 9. So Tuesday September 9, the first week market was dropping, right? If you look at the negative, it was a negative, net position was negative, and you see the net percentage, leverage funds, they're all negative. So according to the next week, we see the next week was also negative. It is September 9, 2025. So if we check data, it was still falling, right? So comes somewhere around here, negative. It was negative. You see that price is not going up there. So this was the next after 2 weeks, but we still have negative numbers, so we did not enter since price was ranging. So they fake outs came. So let us look at the CHF. Okay, CHF was positive. Let us say CHF USD or CHF CAT. Almost every time I use CAT CHF or CAT CHF, and I go the opposite. So CAT CHF, since it was negative, CAT CHF was positive, right? So we will look for the opposite direction. If this was positive, it will go to the downside. Let us look if that works. So where is September 2 then? So I need you to understand CAT CHF will go down. Why? Because the CHF is positive. Okay, so that this week, since this number is positive, it is correlated with the Canadian dollar. So the Canadian dollar is very weak, as we have seen here. It was weak. The Canadian dollar is weak, right? Is weak. So we bear both of these currency pairs, like we connect, we bear Canadian dollar to the Swiss dollars, and then the CHF is positive and the Canadian is negative, so that the main currency which we have on this charity is the Canadian dollar, while the quote will be the CHF. Since this charity is for the Canadian dollar, the CHF is both positive and the Canadian dollar is negative, so we will go short and selling, so that the base currency is the Canadian and the quote is the CHF. So from this week, market will go down until 9, like 9. Okay, September 9. This is too much. September 9. So the next week comes, guys, when September 9 is here, which will be Tuesday, and then market starts continuation down. Why? Because if we go to the next week, CHF got some negative positions and the other one is negative. They go together, or maybe make consolidations. When two currencies have the same numbers, like negative numbers, market will go consolidation. There is no good setups. So what I want to show you here is the next pair. It will be the NZD here. So NZD was positive September 2. It was positive. What we can do is let us NCD, any number, NCD JBY, NCD CHF. Let us go NCD JBY. So NCD JBY, Tuesday, September 2. Okay, it was showing some very bad action, right? But we guys can see there is positive number. Why? You see that from that from that time market started pushing up. So you have to analyze both currencies since we have NCD JBY. So according to this week, NCD was positive while the JBY was negative. So if the currency on the charity is NCD first, it is the base currency, and JBY is the quote. So we are analyzing NCD, not the JBY. So understand if the first or base currency is positive. For example, we have NCD negative or positive. You see that NCD is positive. That means on the charity, when the currency is the base of NCD, we are expecting a strong buy. But there are price action confirmations, volume confirmations, some technical analysis you will apply. Look here that market started buying or pushing to the upside from this region, and then it started going up since JBY is weak and NZD is strong. So to the next week, NCD started negative. It was like September 9, right? September 9, there was a negative, but price was still moving up. Since JBY will change the condition, let us look at. So the JBY was still negative, so two negatives, that is like unknown situation. I don't like when two numbers are the same at the same weeks. They must be different. Why? Because when we have the same week and the both currencies showing two negatives, that will be very bad. But we see the net percentage change is changing. So if there is new direction, we can see the net percentage, but the net leverage percentage is totally different. So we do not like it. So I will share a strategy of how to know if there is continuation, if there is a COT flip which shows the order change, whether they want to change the bullish to bearish or from bearish to bullish. After all, the last one is like, let us check the charity of JBB JBY here, which was also okay, negative for the first week. So what can we do then? Is there any asset as a base currency JBY? No, let us have as quotes. We will trade opposite. Okay, opposite. This is Euro JBY. If JBY is negative here and we have Euro positive during this week, we together a positive Euro and negative Euro will form short. Why? Because we are buying the negative and selling the positive. All I mean is this week we want a sell. Okay, so it was selling or ranging, but If we go inside the JBY, NCDY, it was also a sell. Okay, we got USD JBY also, a good example. Looking for, okay, September, yeah, this was very good example. You see, it was selling, okay, till 9. After the 9, market started bullish. The reason, we go to the next week, and the next week it was negative, but the negative of last week and the negative of this week is totally different. They were reducing, right? So this is small and this is too much, so this number is totally less, but it is still negative. So they really add some small mines, and market went up. I hope that this makes sense when feeding data into this terminal. Everything zone, so easy understanding it. So there is a bear sections where you guys don't like to to look for lot of opportunities of sell and buy. So this terminal gives you gives you everything so easy. For example, it says like this is signals of the current week. Okay, this is the signals of current week. So always it shows the signals of current week. It means this week, okay, this week, and it shows like when we go to the dashboard, that week of the current week, okay, of current week, it shows like JBY was the weakest for that week. So JBY was the JBY was very strong bullish at this week of this September 9. So if we go JBY, my terminal is showing if we buried these two currencies, the weakest currency and the strongest currency together, if this is the strong one and this is the weakest one, we pair them together, that is the currency pair, or two paired currencies, and this will be the strongest currency of this week of September 9. So if we go September 9, maybe it will show something negative. September 9, yes, September 9 here, September 9 was here. So this was the strongest currency, and then you guys can see It is absolutely amazing. It really gave us so strong. And you know that the next weeks we can fetch the data into our terminal and then can know, you know. So any asset of this week that has a base currency of JBY will go lower, and any currency that's you know let us say USD JBY at the same week. USD JBY could be also strong because JBY was very weak at this week. So if we go here, look for USD JBY September 9, September 9, market started pushing up. Okay, little bit down, but it moved it down, it moved it up. September 17, then bullish comes. But the JBB was strong. That was the good example of that week. And let me tell you, uh, we do not need to hold trades like 1 to 2 for higher time frame. Let us say we had you know we had our entry at this strong key level, and then we have stop loss very wide, and then look for a clear 1 to 2 or 1 to 2, and then boom, you guys can see market will smash or target always. I hope we will kill the market after the COT report is published on the charity. So to those who wanted to join my mentorship, you will exercise all my terminal and get weekly updates, and then follow me. We have strategies like analyzing the data, also uh, yeah, lots of things, guys, lot of things, understanding the change of flip of COT or COT flips. Wish you the best. Bye.